Ma'am, it's live on YouTube.
So, friends, do we begin?
Yes, ma'am, we're ready.
Yes, please.
Great. So, very good afternoon, all of you. And it's my pleasure here to actually welcome Miss Joy Guy from Asia Pacific Network Head from World GBC. Miss Joy has been, I think, not only a patron, a motivator, and an icon of sustainability, but she also carries the name Joy with her, and she has been bringing the right joy to sustainability. Friends, mind it, her company name also is Joy of Sustainability. And that is why that makes her extremely special. She might look quite naive, sweet, and all the feminist characters you can associate, but mind it, equally strong headed and very, very stable sustainability leader. Joy currently heads Asia Pacific Network, and she has been an active member with the team of World Green Building Council for a long time. I am really glad that NAREDCO Mahi is giving us this opportunity to have this knowledge series with Joy Ghai today. Ananta ji, Ananta Raghuvanshi ma'am, Smita ma'am, and Preeti ma'am, it has been a pleasure always with NAREDCO Mahi having such knowledge series where we are not only talking about the real life stories and motivations, but we are trying to imbibe the right essence to a different level, to a human level. Today, we are here to discuss sustainability for Asia Pacific region with Ms. Joy, looking at our upcoming year 2025. And with this, I would definitely mention one name who has been instrumental in driving this entire NAREDCO Mahi to a very, very strong level. Before I go ahead to the next slide, my sincere thanks to Bhanvi and Reena and entire NAREDCO team for making this happen and always being there as a strong support with all of us. Definitely, vote of thanks will come later, but as a duty from my side, I'm definitely mentioning it. And that's how we have Ms. Preeti Singh Mundra, who is Additional Director of NAREDCO, and that is how she has been a founding member with Mahi, that is the NAREDCO's women wing, and with 20 plus years of experience through multiple associations, corporates, and you can actually see a big bio associated with her. Unfortunately, she is getting delayed for the session, and that is why I am requesting Smita ma'am to also take her part of initiatives. She has been a awardee of multiple titles, and that is how Preeti Singh ji, I think आपकी वजह से हम सब यहाँ हैं और आपकी वजह से आपका टीम बहुत strong है. Keep up the good work and thank you so much. And going to the next important person who's there with us live here, Smita Dhanraj Patil. She is the managing director of SSPL Group, a very, very dynamic leader with 18 plus years of experience in the industry. And throughout her career, she has been responsible for spearheading sales, marketing, HR, finance, operations. And she chooses not to be the chairman, but the managing director, the work related role for her. A very, very passionate advocate for sustainable development, minded all her development projects go with complete sustainable aspects. And she's a very, very strong believer that unless we practice sustainability, we cannot hand over the projects to the end user in complete essence. She has been another award winning lady with many, many prestigious accolades. Women Achiever of the Year by NAREDCO, Women Achiever in Commercial Realty. You can actually see the big list going on. Icons of Maharashtra, Women Influencer, Excellence Award, Iconic Women Award. And most importantly, she is going to be the upcoming president for NAREDCO Mahi. So President-elect Ms. Smita Patel, over to you, ma'am. आपके लिए जितना बोलूं कम है. This bio is also incomplete, and I'm definitely looking forward to hear from you. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Anshul. Thanks for the kind words and my introduction. So I would like to welcome Joy to our team and for this webinar. So Joy, congratulations, first of all, and you are doing a wonderful job. We are just amazed to see the kind of energy and the work you are doing. So we are just inspired a lot. So congratulations. And I would like to give you a small brief about NAREDCO Mahi. So like NAREDCO is a National Real Estate Development Council, and Mahi is a women's wing of the same. And here in Mahi, we are working on certain initiatives. So it's a skilling initiative, it's a Nirmal Jal Prayas, Dolphin Tank, and we are all the team members of Mahi are divided into the parts as per their interest, and we are working towards all that. So in skilling, we are working to upskill the people who are working in the real estate industry, and we are focusing more on the women from the unprivileged sector. So the women who are working on the sites, and they actually do a lot of hard work, but they are not earning as per their work. So we are helping them to upskill their things, and like they can earn more and stand strong with the men's world. So and then Nirmal Jal Prayas, in today's world, the need of sustainability has never more urgent. So like it's as our planet and the consequences we are facing. Just now we were speaking about the weather. So the kind of climate change, the resource depletion, and the environmental issues we all are facing. So we have uh, to work towards the sustainability. So it's our shared responsibility to take action on this. And I feel the sustainability is just not a choice. So it's a necessity for our future, for our kids, for our next generation. So with this thought, the Mahi felt the water conservation in particular is a pressing concern. So water scarcity and affects millions of lives, and it threatens the balance of our ecosystem as well. So we thought of working towards water conservation. So we have launched the initiative called Nirmal Jal Prayas. So with this, it is effort to work towards conserving water resources across India, and through the projects of focus on restoration of water bodies, rainwater harvesting, and creating awareness. So we have started with the first step of awareness, like we are arranging the awareness programs, and we are actually connecting to the people who are already working into this, and we are jointly working on some of the initiatives with them so that we can help the society and the world to work towards water conservation. So this is how my lovely team of NAREDCO Mahi is contributing into the society through skilling, through Nirbal Jal Prayas for the sustainability, and plus the Dolphin Tank is one more initiative we have launched recently. We are supporting the startups from the real estate industry, and we are helping them to get better and get the funds, and we are helping mentoring them to the each level of their life. So this is how we're working in the NAREDCO Mahi, and I would like to Thank you a lot for accepting our invitation and joining this webinar. And we are eagerly waiting to listen from you now. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Smita ji, for the kind words. And yes, we have been waiting to hear from Miss Joy. And before we go ahead, I have already briefed about her, but let me do it officially. She's the founder of Joy of Sustainability LLP, which is a platform advocating sustainability, offering coaching services to close the gap between sustainability design, delivery, user engagement, helping clients to have better clarity, reduce the gaps, and know their true goals. We have to understand one thing, that when we are talking sustainability, we have to go ahead with feasibility as well. If a project does not feel that particular goal is feasible, and if we are still forcing somebody to do that, it is absolutely non-sustainable activity. So probably Joy of Sustainability LLP is one of the platforms who is helping the clients to understand the right aspects of sustainability with their independent goals. Now, Joy is also the strategic partnership lead and head of Asia Pacific in World Green Building Council. She's an adjunct lecturer as well. Being a passionate sustainability advocate, she has a mastery certified coach certificate, and also being a sustainable design expert for I think more than 12 years, she carries strong technical knowledge, sustainability, and positive psychology. Friends, it's important to be positive in every aspect. And looking at Joy, of course, you feel happy. You have to. But very important aspect, if you have been following her on her social media handles, you will realize that she is not joyful at her own end only, but she's spreading this joy to absolute limitless boundaries and extremely motivational messages and videos, and probably giving you the right path of sustainability is what Miss Joy has been practicing for years now. With her team, she has completed many sustainable projects, including net zero, eco cities, unique green buildings, and multiple other things in entire Asia Pacific region. She's aware that true sustainability starts from a sustainable mindset, which is a mix of compassion, commitment, and, of course, positive change. She enjoys teaching, coaching, advocating, and just like her personal brand, she's aiming to bring the joy of sustainability to the world. I don't mind adding, she's an excellent dancer. She doesn't look her age, definitely, and she is the right mix of self-efficient and sustainable person. Over to you, Joy.
Oh, thank you so much. Such a sweet introduction. This is the ever best introduction I ever heard. I'm going to save this and use later. And really, really great. And this is a great honor to be able to have an interaction with the iconic women in this network. And this is something I'm super proud and honored to be in. So today, it's a great pleasure that I'm able to share what sustainability is about in 2025, and also what sustainability is about in Joy of Sustainability. So a very good afternoon and good evening from Singapore. So when we look at this 2025, actually it's also reminding us about what is happening this year in 2024. This year we had or already had 50 elections happening this year, which is already the biggest in the history. And we also experienced the warmest year in the history. So in India, you already had a heat wave. In Singapore, we also feel this extreme weather. And somewhere else around the world are resonating in the same thing. And then at the same time, we also have this huge disruption. As generative AI, it comes as a huge disruption to everything we do. And we started to learn about these new things. So, and that actually helped us to make new decisions and also shaped how we are making decisions as well. So what we are looking forward to 2025, actually one of the key words moving forward is really this word of sustainability. So when we look at sustainability, there are two parts of sustainability I'm going to share with you, and I also hope everyone can remind yourself about this. There are actually two aspects of sustainability. One is the outside of sustainability, outside of us, is this environmental sustainability. What dwells within us is this inner sustainability that we are holding closely with. Yeah. So this is what Joy of Sustainability in 2025 or the future is all after. And we start from this environmental sustainability first for today. And when we talk about the outer sustainability, it may not sound as so joyful as what we think, because if we're going to present a possible future, if the global warming is not in control and we have 1 degree increase, we'll see no ice in Arctic for half a year, which is already happening at this moment, because now we already have 0.8 degrees of temperature, global temperature increase. And then if we are not able to control further, 2 degrees, the seawater will rise by 7 meters. Some of the coastal city in India could actually be heavily destroyed. And then your investment, if you have a property in those coastal area, if you have a data center or any of the assets there, it will become an immediate threat for you. So we can see climate change is becoming an immediate threat for a lot of things that we are doing right now. And if we continue to go 3 degrees, the Amazon rainforest will disappear. And this is where the lung of the earth sequester 20% of the carbon dioxide. If we're ever reaching 3 degrees, it will become the climate change will be irreversible. And this will be a very big red alarm for everyone. And if we're not able to control 4 degrees, half of the world will be covered by water. And we'll be lucky if we still have this webinar by then. And if we continue to go, the large amount of marine species will extinct, and there will be a lot more climate disaster. And this is what we will be experiencing. We're not able to control this. Yes, that's exactly what you should hear. Right. So if we keep going, by 6 degrees, we will be the next dinosaur. Again, we definitely don't want it to see this happening. And the most important thing is that we want to be able to control all this, so it becomes it becomes a prediction rather than the reality. And what we are right now is in this industry, that's in the built environment industry. What's special in the built environment industry is we have the potential to reduce 37% of the global carbon emission, which makes us as the single biggest sector that is able to contribute significantly to the climate change. And then we also create significant amount of the sustainable investments. We are also able to shape significant amount, 2.8 billion or more people out from all these energy poverty and all the other things. So we have great mission to do. And this is something like really also in the way that there's actually a great potential in the Asia Pacific network as well. So this is fresh from our data in World Green Building Council, as we have more than 75 green building councils around the world and 17 green building councils in Asia Pacific. We have freshly collected what is the regional trend. We were asking our green building councils, what is your trend? What is the priority for you? What should you focus on in the future? So after this, we can see in Asia Pacific, the top ranking one is sustainable finance. And the next one is the building energy efficiency. And come next is the government incentive or regulations for sustainable building, and adaptation, climate resilience, and also the net zero carbon in building operation. So I hope this gave you a hint or give you some of the key message, allowing you to focus or direct your priority to aligning with this regional priority. And you can also see that this is really relevant and also the same priority or the relevant one across other part of the world as well. So you can see Europe, America, or Africa in Middle East, Middle East and North Africa as well. So coming to this, we definitely wanted to see there's a lot of things that we have already achieved in Asia Pacific, although we have the biggest population around the world, and also our construction volume is also the highest. At the same time, also we have one of the biggest emissions as well. But we do acknowledge that there are actually quite a lot of achievements happening in our green building councils, and of course the institutions and also the organizations around the region. So a big congrats to all of them. And what you can see that what has been up on the list is this advancing of sustainable building practices. So just now, I already hear the great achievement and also the activity from Smita about this NAREDCO Mahi. So this is actually a very good initiative because you have actually reaching out and also to advocate sustainability throughout all these key stakeholders and also even the future professionals in this industry. And then we can also see that this engaging within the stakeholder and also the network is also crucial for us to continue this message and also to continue to live in and build in sustainable way. And capacity building and innovation is also what I'm seeing what you're doing as well. So aligning with this regional priorities and also this regional activity, this is something that we really hope to see this is continuing. But at the same time, since this is what I'm speaking to the network in India, and also I will be personal visiting Bengaluru next Monday to really to also have a dialogue about sustainability. So I really wanted to bring this into your attention. This is the latest data from the Climate Action Tracker about India. You can see that in this tracker, we have different scales from the critical insufficient to highly insufficient. We can see that in India, we definitely has a lot of potential. And also we are in the critical stage to be able to have a more aggressive change. So what is summarized in this chart and also the message we're sending? First of all, we actually seeing this rapid increase due to the GDP growth and also the recent heat wave. We can see the energy demand is getting higher. And then at the same time, the fossil fuel demand in India so far has not changed much yet, which also give us this like a signal that we really need to continue to rapidly building the renewable storage and capacity because in our India that we already declare half 50% of the fossil fuel. So this is the target that we are meeting right now. So far, I heard that is 46%. So maybe India is able to achieve this goal ahead of schedule. So this also brings this urgency that we really need to look at this balance of energy and to start to do enhance in terms of the renewable energy. So, and also the opportunity to set stronger targets. We really hope the NDC and also the government will be able to have more ambitious targets. For example, now is 50% non-fossil fuel capacity by 2030 and net zero by 2070, if I'm not wrong. So we really hope to see more aggressive target there. But at the same time, it's also even more promising because I see the building sector is moving ahead of this national target. I can see like the professionals like you guys and also our great Indian Green Building Council are also moving forward and to move the goalposts a lot faster, which also demonstrating the sector's commitment and also your ambition in this. So how can we support you from the World Green Building Council perspective? Because Indian Green Building Council being our founding member, we also have this special relationship with the Indian community as well. So we are in the World Green Building Council network, we are currently developing two readiness framework because we realize in order for the industry to move towards total decarbonization or net zero, complete net zero, there might be a little bit longer gap for certain countries and especially for the developing countries. So that's why we are preparing the industry to be more ready towards net zero and also to be more ready in terms of resource and circularity. So these are the two framework, the the zero carbon readiness framework is already live online, and then the resource and circularity readiness framework will be launched early next year. So we want to bring to your attention that we actually did some of the national survey across the Asia Pacific about what exactly most important for you in order to achieve zero carbon. And some of the data could be useful for you. For example, in India context, you can see the top priority, which refer to the most important and most likely to happen, is the net zero benchmarking tool for different types of buildings. So with the national certification tool or any of the benchmarking tools, and this is something kind of great, should be able to create a good awareness document across the industry, so it's helping people to make better decisions. And then the next important and likely to happen within your region is a clear, agreed definition of net zero. So we see the whole life carbon or net zero could have different definitions. How do you really count renewable energy? What kind of energy data you should be included in? How do you convert the fossil fuel like from the electricity as well? So there's a lot of different questions and different ways of defining net zero. So World Green Building Council has a version that we hope that you can actually use this version as a reference, but it's also most important is to be relevant to your city and country. So another one is a guideline for net zero project verification, because a lot of projects could be actually getting net zero on paper, but how do you validate and how do you encourage people to behave in the way that they're living in a net zero project? So this is actually more sequential and long-term compared with the design. And also, we also through the survey, we also highlighted that what are the important but less likely to happen. What does it mean? Because you perceive as important, but you see this is less likely to happen, which means that it's posing a great challenge in your region. So this is something worth reflecting, because if you know this is important but hard to achieve, what exactly is holding you behind? And what is stopping you from moving forward? This is something we really hope everyone can take this question and start to look at the solutions within your area. So for example, in India, what is important but less likely is government to establish carbon emission target and provide roadmaps. Yes, I do partially agree, because NDC, we really hope NDC could have a more ambitious target. We also understand the development needs of the country. So this is a balance that we really hope to be able to have the government leadership and also the practical solution in the industry. And the other one is the mandatory requirement or performance required relating to achieving of net zero. And if net zero becoming mandatory, it will really change how we design, how we live, and eventually how we're making decisions even for our day-by-day lifestyle. So we can see this could be very disruptive to the country, that if we mandate net zero, but eventually this needs to happen. So we hope the industry and also the organizations will prepare yourself towards this future. And another one is the National Grid Decarbonization Plan and ready availability of clean energy options to industry. What does it mean? Sometimes we know renewable energy technology is there, but they may not be necessarily connected to the grid, and then the infrastructure may not be ready to support such a target. And then, so this is something we hope is a combination of the government leadership, infrastructure readiness, technology advancement, and also stakeholders capacity building. This is actually a whole supply chain effort in order to achieve this kind of goal. And there's also another one, it's called industry financial model for net zero project as well. So again, in Asia Pacific, one of the top ranked priority is sustainable finance. And we also wanted to see more and more cross dialogue from the financial institute to the building sector, and also they understand more about what sustainability really means, and they're making informed decision in terms of sustainable investment. So this is we wanted to see the industry is happening. So in summary, after we hear about the focus in India, and this is what we bring you out in terms of net zero readiness framework and in terms of the total decarbonization, what we see at the regional level is, first of all, one of the top the top four challenges we see across the region is first of all upfront cost, because still a lot of people feel sustainability is expensive and green may apply to a cost, but this may not be so true at this time. And we actually have a lot of projects actually challenge this misconception that sustainability could actually even saving more cost than the conventional design. And also we wanted to have a better and more appealing business model in terms of sustainability. And I'm sure that you guys, as the iconic figure in your country, that you are already demonstrating that sustainability is already a strong business model, a key decision, and also your lifestyle as well. So, and mindset and behavior change will be something we're advocating as well, because that's the perception and the core of sustainability, and also having the accessibility to the renewable energy carbon offsets as well. So coming to this readiness framework, there are 5 different pillars. I will just quickly navigate through so you can have a better idea about what exactly this is all about. So the first one is government leadership, and we have technical solutions and approaches, finance, data, and the last one, and maybe the most important thing, is the mindset. So in terms of government leadership, we're actually seeing around the world, so 82%, so like 158 out of 192 national determined contribution NDCs mentioned building emission reductions in their code, which we also hope to see this even more with this sector being one of the important contributors in terms of sustainability. It should be more mentioned or even mandated in the national code. And also less than half of the countries adopted energy code and also even mandate this. So we can see that in terms of government leadership, there's a lot for us to lobby the government leadership. And also I can see that this partner between World Competing Council and also your organization will eventually become to create a more significant impact. In terms of technical solution, we can see that based on our understanding, usually the grid decarbonization could be, if you decarbonize the entire grid, actually the entire nation could be green as well. And then at the same time, but one thing we wanted to emphasize is we shouldn't actually put into the further like other people's responsibility that if the grid is green, if all of the electricity is, from the extreme perspective, if all the electricity are generated by renewable energy, doesn't mean that our city is green. Again, this is the theory that we wanted to correct, because the most important thing is you need to look at building energy reduction first, and also the reduction of the embodied carbon before you look at the grid decarbonization. At this note, I want to give everyone a little metaphor. So you know that we are very conscious about our weight sometimes, and so like exercising, and also like we wanted to look decent, especially we're getting older now. So like think about it. What is the most effective way for you to lose weight? So a lot of people will say like, oh, I need to eat less. I need to be on diet. I need to control what I eat. Absolutely. And a lot of people will also say that in order to maintain my weight, I also need to exercise. I need to do workout. I need to make sure that I'm active. So think about it. What is the sequence for you to do so? Because if you're eating buffet or heavy food every day, even you hit gym every day, I doubt that you'll be looking at what you wanted to do or you wanted to be seen. So that's why we hope that the most effective thing is for you to regulate your diet, then you work out, it will be more useful. Which applies the same thing in the energy in our building as well. Because if we don't look into our demand in the building, in terms of energy demand, no matter how efficient your system is, you are still not the best or the energy efficient building. So the most important thing is you look at your demand. If you optimize your demand, then bring in the best efficiency of the system in your building. This is where you have the potential of going green. Well, I'm not intentionally doing so to do this before your dinner, but I hope that you can have a good meal with this. At the same time, please exercise the caution that in terms of building energy efficiency, the most effective thing for you is to control the diet, then the exercise become more useful. So in terms of finance, we also see that it's really becoming more and more regulated, and we also so encouraged to see there's a lot of cross dialogue with this. And in our network, we're also doing the mapping exercise project to see how we can help the investors making better and more clear decision. And then one of the most important things is also the data, because data is a language we communicate, because you're using data to communicate how effective, how efficient your building is. You're also using data as a language to communicate what do you need. So the last, but not also I perceive as the most important thing is this mindset, because I realize that a lot of time our solutions are there. We know it's there. We also should be also confident to see that what can be done. But a lot of time, there's a lot of things holding us back. There's also a lot of things that may be preventing us from being more adventurous. There's a lot of things that we don't even know exist. So that's why if we are able to overcome the critical mindset holds us back, it may actually bring us to the next level, which in this joy of sustainability, what I bring in is this inner sustainability. When we talk about inner sustainability, the key word in this is actually this one word is belief. It will be very useful for us to be aware that what exactly you are holding as a belief. Do you believe that sustainability can be done? That do you believe that achieving net zero by 2050 or achieving net zero early by 2030 is a reality? Do you believe that we have the solution in hand to make change? And do you believe that you're the pioneer, that you are able to drive sustainability in the critical way that you can? So there's a lot of things that I really hope in this, you can challenge your own belief. And I really hope that you are able to use what you are best believed in to drive the change. So what should we really believe? So in our world, and give you some of this content, we should really believe that solutions are there. We should believe that we have more than enough investment. Actually, we should channel all these investment and resources to our industry. We should balance this. We should drive and we should dream and we should believe that this is true. And one of the key things I wanted to bring into this webinar is this theory of minority influence. So this is something that you can actually search online. Is a psychology term by Serge Moscovici. It actually suggests that a small, consistent, and confident minority can influence the majority and drive change. This ties into this are also another theory talk about if once 10 to 15% adopt a new idea, and when they are constantly being consistent and also hold the position and with the commitment and reliability, being relevant and also constantly demonstrating this leadership behavior, they are actually able to change the majority. So I wanted to end this this sharing session with this theory of minority influence, because I definitely believe that in our industry and with every great things you guys are doing, you can change the world with a sustainable future. And in the future, I hope we are not the minority anymore. Right? Thank you. And thank you so much for your attention. I really hope to be able to see great changes and great work come in your region. And thank you, Anshu, for this opportunity as well.
So if you ask me, I would ask you to continue and keep going for, more half an hour. We are all set to listen to you. A very, very well explained presentation, Joy. And it was sheer joy to see it, listen to you. Excellent way of, putting up things. In fact, I would appreciate the content you have already put forth, taking into consideration how India should actually move ahead, which directions. And I would really like to open the forum for question answers, because so many things you are actually talking about with focus on sustainability, because we often think that sustainability is limited to built environment, which is not the case. There is a grand social angle to it. And of course, the driver remains the economy part of it. And that is how green finance emerges as another section that needs interim, deliberation on how to take it further, because people also look at green finance as an incentive. So, you have to be very careful not to bridge the gap between incentive and overcome sustainability. So, I think you explained it right. I would definitely open the forum for question answers. I would request the participants to please type your questions in the chat box. Till then, I have a question from my side to you. So this Mahi Forum, and NAREDCO is a conglomeration of developers. So a major contributor to built environment in the country. So how can actually NAREDCO perform in 2025, or what major steps NAREDCO can actually look at in 2025 to bring a massive change?
Right. So it's you guys actually are holding one of the biggest resource and maybe the most important resource in this industry, that developers, because they are able to make changes and call for demand. So one of the so maybe two things immediately come to my mind. The first thing is really to identify the leadership and best practices, and also share the case studies among. So this will be one of the useful thing, because they want to know how they have done so, how the leaders are able to bring something maybe creative or first of its kind and become a norm. So this is where you can see some of the technology or some of the solutions could be the first time in this building, but eventually maybe 2 years or 1 year later, it become a norm. So this should be more encouraged. So the second thing is we want, so the first one is sharing the resources. The second one is also the leadership, because if collectively all the developers have similar demand, so they will be able to change the demand of the market. For example, if everyone is looking at resource and circularity or green products, this will become a new new norm in the industry. So this is where like they have the greater influence to have a faster solution for sustainability. Yeah.
So excellent. We already have few questions lining up. And okay, so Mr. Salman mentions congratulations for initiating Dolphin Tank. Smita ma'am, I think you can definitely thank him on behalf of NAREDCO.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Salman.
And his question follows that how to improve the AQI, that is air quality index, for a green building. So basically for the project, that is what the question lies. And another question that he has, it follows is it possible to build good infrastructure with good strength by using green building materials? Basically, AQI and materials are the questions.
Right. So the first question, the indoor air quality. So of course, one of the we really encourage more natural ventilation, because if let's say we're able to reduce the air conditioning use and bring the natural air in, that's actually the best way in terms of indoor air quality, because that's where the most fresh air. However, in certain country, and especially for the developing country, like some of the countries, maybe the pollution outside is even more. So that's where we have to look into filtration system and other things. So we have to always balance the energy use versus the indoor environmental quality, because this could actually become a contradiction in certain country. But one of the key messages we want to send is that green building is not a cost of your health. It's also not cost of your wealth. So if air quality is the priority, especially if it's for children, for the healthcare, for a facility, yes, and this will be the priority that we need to look after. And then when we come to the infrastructure, because the majority of the material we use in infrastructure is concrete and cement, which actually embedded the most of the embodied carbon, we definitely really need to look into new technologies. For example, like in in our network, we have one partner called Pan United. They actually have this project called Carbon Cure. So they actually using the liquid, they capture they use the liquid carbon dioxide and inject to the concrete mix, and they're actually able to form the molecule that is even strengthening the concrete. So at the same time, they can permanently store carbon dioxide. So if those are the technologies able to reduce the embodied carbon, sequester the carbon dioxide, at the same time also contribute to the building of our cities, and that will be a win-win-win solution if we have. So it can go green. I know infrastructure require high resilience and also liability. So this is something that we need to see this slowly coming. Yeah, and also we can use a lot of steel. Steel is in a way like it's infinite recyclable. So like new technology or sustainable material will be a solution for that. I see another question said, how can we
So Dr.
balance
Katie
economy? Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Yes, absolutely. You're reading the question right.
All right, yeah. Um, so how can we balance economic growth with the environmental stewardship in our industry? Yes, this is a question actually being always a heated discussion in COP as well. So again, going sustainable, is that the way of reducing your GDP, or is it something you're sacrificing? So we will definitely say sustainability has the potential to create new jobs. It's also a new industry, and sustainability professional is also someone that we feel that is also potential in terms of changing and driving in the economy growth. So instead of seeing that how we are reducing things, also seen as a loss, we can actually see sustainability become an opportunity, because the solar energy is a new industry, and maybe also also the hydrogen is also a new opportunity as well. And we can see that NAREDCO is also training a lot of new green champions in your region. So look at these positive ways, and also to see how this can benefit the economic growth. And that could be another way that we see the positivity in. Yeah, so everything has two sides, and it just depends on how we think about it. We definitely encourage we to explore that what exactly sustainability able to drive the new economic growth. So well, I see the questions coming up. So how do we protect the poverty line population to achieve the net zero target process? Sincerely request NAREDCO to think about it. Thank you. Yeah, so again, sustainable and affordable housing is also one of the topics in World Green Building Council. We have recently launched the sustainable and affordable housing report. We actually even have a lot of case studies in the poverty and also the low income country, and also the region. One of the city, we actually had the case study from India in one of the village. So this, if I could remember, is also they involve the women leaders in the village to help in design their home, and also to have like a low energy and also low cost home. So the community can make a big difference, especially in like what you refer to the below poverty line. So if we are able to encourage them to take responsibility and also involve in the design process and teach them about sustainability and how they can live in a comfortable life with a low cost and use natural material that you don't, maybe the materials that is already locally available, that could be actually becoming a new norm in sustainable built environments. So sometimes we see like we could actually redefine luxury. What is luxury? When you surround all our CEO president's office, if they're surrounded by the pure nature, and it has the butterfly, has the nature resource in the natural environment, that could be the new luxury we're actually looking at, rather than the concrete building with all the walls and also the fancy material and with air conditioning system. Maybe in the future, the new luxury is a different way. It's a sustainable way.
That's great. So we have one more question here by Ms. Nandita Roy. So she definitely appreciates your session. She mentions that it's a very informative session. I would like to know, what would the Green Building Council and NAREDCO recommend for on-premise solid wet waste handling for mass generators like big housing societies?
This become a little bit more technical in terms of our resource and circularity framework. What we're actually looking at is really designated responsibility of the recycle chain. So in the general understanding of this question, so we hope that we can encourage the designated the recycle or the waste dealers. They're actually be more innovative and also have new technology to deal with that. So again, maybe it needs a little bit more context to really help you in terms of this question, but in generally, we are going to launch our resource and circularity readiness framework maybe the first quarter of next year. Stay tuned in World GDC Asia Pacific webpage.
That's great. So we have one of our VP East, Ms. Sheetal Bhilkar. She also has a question here. So she mentions that any new technologies in MEP you recommend, which are popularly used globally, which can make major impact on sustainability.
Okay. One of the interesting thing like this not recently, I think before COVID, so there was one project we are doing together for the net zero institutional project. So I realized a lot of new technology is actually the technology that we're already being aware. So instead of you have a full air conditioning room that you maintain at 24 degrees to have like ultimate comfort, if you have a ceiling fan, like I see Smita's home has a ceiling fan already. So you have the ceiling fan running together with the air conditioning system, you will feel the same comfort when you're running your room at 27 degrees while running the ceiling fan. And then the cost of energy, the amount of energy used will be significantly reduced with this. So there's a lot of creativity we can do. And the most important thing to reduce the energy is the same thing, eat less, consume less. Yes.
Absolutely. So I think many new technologies, collaborative technologies, integrated approach with solar passive design, active passive measures, I think they really make a grand impact. And Joy, I think a lot of questions coming to you. Another question, what sustainability initiatives are most impactful in the real estate sector?
Right. I must say it's the green finance because people really feel finance is where moving the goalposts sometimes, and they also like most able to make a key decision, or sometimes it could be a bottleneck of a lot of new technologies and things. So I would say that if we really wanted to have this initiative, if we wanted to have the green finance, like a financial institute, understand more about sustainability, and then through our reporting, through the data, we're able to have a synchronized understanding between these two sectors that will make a big difference in supporting the new technology involvement in our industry and also supporting finance in going fully true green. Yeah.
That's great. I think we had an extensive question answer session along with, of course, your very informative session. So I would definitely just go back to my share for a minute, and I hope my screen is visible. Yes.
Yeah, you can see that.
And my dear friends who are attending this session, this is for you. I'm sure now you actually resonate with the overall introduction that I gave for Miss Joy. And she completely, forms as one of the most informative person on, how we have to now move towards the sustainable world. Friends, we don't have a choice. We have to go by the compliance very soon. And today we are getting the desert like green finance available for us. It's better to eat it. Definitely, Joy mentioned about reducing weight. I would say eat right. Have to look at. And that is why choose your right strategies. And NAREDCO definitely looks forward to all your support. And definitely, we had an extensive question answer session. And I would request Architect Chitra Jain, who is National Vice President NAREDCO Mahi, to summarize our session with Ms. Joy. Over to you, Chitra.
Thank you. Joy, this was such a wonderful, wonderful session and very, very informative and so relevant that I think I was actually taking notes so that I could, use this wherever it's relevant. And I could already be, I was putting ticks on, okay, this is where now, this is our way forward. Now, this is where we have to look, this is the good direction to take. And there were already ideas forming in my mind on where and how NAREDCO can take this, forward. So, but to quickly sum it up, I really like the way you began with, the looking at sustainability, both from the external and the internal. So external is what everybody talks about, but I think your joy of sustainability deals with both aspects, the internal and the external. So maybe we could have another session with you where we discuss more from the internal perspective. So yeah, I think you started there and went on to discuss about the trends and the achievements of the Green Building Council in the Asia Pacific. And I think the one important note that I made at that point was the role of community engagement in, continuing and making sure that this sustainability journey doesn't remain just on paper, but can actually be implemented and then monitored and continued. So engaging the community and keeping your customer base or the consumer involved in the whole process, I think is the key to ensuring that, our net zero projects or our green building projects actually remain green and remain, net zero. So a lot of studies have been done where, you begin with a green building, but eventually after a few years, it stops being so green because then either the Resident Welfare Association or the people who are in charge of actually taking care of the green aspects probably don't invest as much into continuing to keep it green. So that's where involvement of the community, and I saw this community engagement repeated in a few more slides. So I think right till the end, I think it's not just the leadership or the government making their regulations and making guidelines, but also involving the stakeholders and the community, to be part of the entire sustainability journey. So you also discussed about total decarbonization of the built environment, the various ways of doing it. And from an India perspective, the important, most likely, steps that we should be doing, beginning with the net zero benchmarking tools to be made available, definition of a clear, agreed definition of what net zero really means. So, just to share with you, in Delhi, we have under the Swachh Bharat mission, the Municipal Corporation of Delhi has began to identify colonies as net zero wet waste colonies. So we get a certification if at a housing society level. So I also saw that in the question, one of the questions that came through is how to do, what are the guidelines for green waste, generators and how to take care of green waste. So in Delhi, a lot of the, resident welfare associations are actually doing wet waste management. We actually do our own composting at neighborhood level. So my colony is handling about 1,030 to 1,050 homes. The green waste coming out of about 1,050 homes is composted within our own colony. So we have a net zero certification from the municipal corporation. But if you ask, is that really that's again one of the definitions of net zero from a Swachh Bharat perspective for a municipality where they're looking only at waste management and especially wet waste management. But from a built environment, the net zero definition would vary. So I think I really agree with you that we need to have this clear definition set out. And maybe the definition varies from a building perspective to an operations perspective to a waste management perspective or from an energy consumption perspective. So totally agree with you there. And the guidelines for net zero projects, and I'm sure Anshul agrees that we do have guidelines already in both under the IGBC as well as TERI. But maybe we need to also strengthen that. And the less likely was where I was also looking at that, these look like steps that we should be able to manage. So maybe soon we can move that from a less likely to the more likely chart, maybe next time. And I like the challenges that you had, highlighted. And looking at the upfront cost is what most developers or projects are actually worried about, and they back out at that stage saying, oh, we don't want to invest that additional cost if it is not going to give us a better saleable value. So that's where probably a lot of the mid-level operators kind of pussyfoot about it and not really get into coming up green projects. But I think that's where we can look at from a Mahi perspective of how we can strengthen that. Lack of appealing business models. So these, I think, we need more stakeholders to be discussing on this. Mindset and behavioral change is an important aspect, and this awareness really, I think, should be built in from a school going age. So just to share, today I had this very young girl from class 1, grade 1, who's my neighbor's grandchild, and she wanted to understand how we are doing composting at a colony level, at our neighborhood level. So this girl was there hopping around, looking at, what is happening. So she got flowers from her puja at home. So she came with a bag full of, discarded flowers and puja, material. And she came with her grandma and wanted to see how the composting is happening. So I realized, and then I told the grandmother, I said, I think this is wonderful. Like, she was actually picking up pieces of thermocol and saying, oh, no, this doesn't belong here. She put it into the thermocol pile. So she picked up the plastic and put it into the plastic pile. So it was so easy to actually sensitize them at that stage, at that age. So I think that's where the awareness really should start. And that mindset change will soon come in. So access to renewable energy and carbon offset resources. Yeah, these are all points. Again, I think we have more stakeholders that we should be discussing this with. And you had a top to-do list, and you had the government leadership requirements. You also covered the technical solutions of, grid decarbonization and building energy reduction, embodied carbon, accounting and reducing. And what I liked was to optimize the demand for energy is, something which you kind of highlighted and underlined. And I think that really is the key, that we optimize right at the beginning stage instead of setting very high standards for cooling, instead of setting, what do I say, very unsustainable ways of lighting buildings, etc. So I think that is where if we optimize the demand for the energy right at the design stage, half your work is done in terms of reaching your net zero or making your building more green. So you also spoke about data and mindset, and the readiness goal is something that you discussed, and the mindset change, I think, is where is one of the low-hanging fruit that we should be really looking at. And as from NAREDCO Mahi, I think that is where we can really start beginning to look at this. I in fact listed one of the questions to address to the NAREDCO Secretariat and look at how many projects have been launched by our own developers, which are green or which are net zero. And that could be our first, beginning, or let's say that's a starting point for us, that we start there and then look at case studies and look at, good examples, and then kind of highlight. And maybe for our next NAREDCO, annual event, we can actually put together, Anshul, I think that would be very exciting if we can do this, that if we actually highlight projects which are done by our own members from NAREDCO, that would maybe, increase the momentum. And kind of, we can take a commitment from our own developers and builder community saying that, yes, start with baby steps, and then, but
Absolutely.
you soon will have to set a target, and all your projects have to be net zero and have to be green. So at least we have, that platform available for us to begin and do that. So thank you so much, Ms. Joy. It was wonderful and a beautiful session. I think looking at the number of questions that came in, it shows how relevant this whole session was. And you did a very good job of covering all the bases, right from, the government initiatives to the awareness programs and the involving the community in the whole process. Thank you so much. And thank you, Anshul, for arranging this, and NAREDCO Mahi team and the secretariats for, facilitating this entire program and hosting it so beautifully.
So excellently summarized, Chitraji. And yes, now the thought process starts, and we have to start acting now. Lot of talks, and now it's time for action.
Yes, exactly.
And
So I put on my paper and said, now this is going to be my first question going into NAREDCO, asking for
yes.
this.
So we are going to form a question paper for them now. A lot of
Yeah,
things to
and they
be
should
done.
realize that NAREDCO Mahi is serious about it. We are not just going to be just hosting sessions
And
and sending content.
that's
But
what
yes,
Ananta ma'am mentions.
yeah.
That's what Ananta ma'am mentions, that we have to take this very, very seriously. And
Yeah.
Joy, she is unable to join today due to some other issues coming up at her end. She has sent her regards to all of us, and especially to you for this particular session. And she mentions that she is looking forward to speak to you, meet you in person very soon. So she sends all her regards. And my dear attendees who are attending here, do mind it that NAREDCO memberships are open. And fortunately, due to the year end, we have reigning discounts. So please feel free to contact our NAREDCO representatives. We have the numbers flashing up on the screen. You can also go to the NAREDCO Mahi website. And now, when we are coming to the end part of the session, before saying thank you, I would just ask Smita ma'am, if you have to add anything from your side, please do. And then I would request Miss Tina Mittal, who's AVP North, NAREDCO Mahi, to give the vote of thanks.
Yeah, thank you so much, Joy. It was a wonderful session and it was indeed very informative. You have covered almost all the points where like anyone will think of the sustainability, and all the 360-degree you have covered up. And it was so beautifully you have given the presentation. Thank you so much. And certainly we will have such more sessions and deep information on each and every aspects. And we are looking for collaboration with you for the sustainability. And we will have more sessions like this. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thank
ma'am.
you,
Over to you,
and
Tina.
Thank you.
NAREDCO Secretariat and all the VPs, AVPs who have joined us today for bringing out the time from your busy schedule. Thank you so much. This is what like we are the team, and we stand strong together. Thank you, my dear team.
Thank you.
Over to you, Tina.
Yeah, I would like say it's a pleasure and honor, and definitely our joy to have you, Joy, with us. We could take out the time and give such an insightful session on sustainability. Definitely how we should move forward. And as Anshul and Chitra said, now it's the way forward. We've got so much of points now to ponder upon, and then how to take it forward. And thank you, Anshul, for moderating this excellent session. Thank you, Smita ma'am and Chitra ji, for summarizing the whole thing, especially the NAREDCO team for organizing everything, and all the participants who joined us live for this session. And we look forward to meet you again, Ms. Joy. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Excellent session. We all will just wait back for a quick screenshot. NAREDCO Secretariat, if you want, you can please open your cameras. Okay, I'm done. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Have a great day,
Thank
all of
you.
you.
You too.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank
Bye so
you.
much. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.